Winds News Time 9:34. Paleoclimatologists conducting research on the Larsen ice shelf reported that a massive section has broken off late last week. This is the largest in a series of breakups from the ice shelf in the past few years. Researchers believe that climate change may be a major contributor. This coincides with rapidly declining amounts of sea ice in the Arctic Ocean. These recent events have left some experts concerned about drastic changes in the Earth's climate.
During a recent UN conference, climatologist Jack Hall discussed the cycle of ice house and greenhouse periods, where there are no glaciers on Earth in the latter. Human activity has considerably accelerated the melting of glaciers and rising global temperatures. Hall warns that if climate change isn't mitigated, an ice age could come much sooner than expected.
Recent climate change has generated several unusual weather events across the globe. This past weekend, severe thunderstorms caused widespread damage to parts of Japan. Hail up to baseball size was reported, resulting in numerous injuries. About 2 months ago, a tornado outbreak occurred across portions of Southern California. Severe damage occurred to portions of Los Angeles and other major communities. The event also marked the first tornado watch to be ever issued by the National Weather Service for that region, as well as the first significant tornadoes. It is suggested that many other weather events, such as tropical cyclones, could be more severe in the future. This is 1010 Winds. Winds News Time 8:20. Meteorologists around the world continue to monitor a group of massive mid-latitude cyclones that formed near the Arctic Circle. This comes after unusual temperature drops were reported in the northern Atlantic Ocean last week. These cyclones reportedly exhibit extremely unusual characteristics. Aside from size, the cyclones have extremely intense centers, with very low central pressure and distinct eye features similar to hurricanes. While some intense hurricanes can have very cold cloud tops of -80 degrees Celsius or more, these particular cyclones have cloud top temperatures below -100 degrees Celsius. In addition, these systems are believed to bring this extremely cold air down to the surface, which can result in unprecedented flash freezing in and around the eye. 3 cyclones have currently been identified over the Arctic. One is centered in northern Canada, another north of Scotland, and the last over Siberia. All 3 cyclones are slowly advancing south towards land areas. The World Meteorological Organization, in a recent press meeting, warns that drastic temperature drops to below freezing, extreme precipitation, and catastrophic storm surge could be possible. The President of the United States encourages residents, particularly those in northern states, to prepare for a long-term storm event unlike anything seen before. The local National Weather Service in New York released a special weather statement, saying weather conditions similar to a violent coastal storm could be expected for the next few days. We will have more information for the New York City area coming up next on 1010 Winds.
Is a special weather. Flood watch in effect until Monday morning. The National Weather Service in Upton has issued a flood watch for the entire tri-state area. Through Monday morning, a superstorm over northern Canada will result in anomalously wet conditions for much of the eastern seaboard. Heavy rain may continue for over 24 hours, resulting in flooding across normally safe areas. Flash flooding is not expected. However, record flooding of many streams and rivers is likely. Urban areas will likely see widespread flooding of streets and low-lying areas. This rainfall is expected to coincide with coastal flooding, which will worsen any flooding along coastal areas, including Manhattan and Long Island. A flood watch means there is a potential for flooding, based on current forecasts. You should monitor later forecasts and be alert for possible flood warnings. Those living in areas prone to flooding should be prepared to take action should flooding develop. Flood watch in effect until Monday morning. Living in areas prone to flooding should be prepared to take action. For the following areas, in Connecticut, southern Fairfield, southern New Haven, southern Middlesex, southern New London, in New York, southern Westchester, Manhattan, Bronx, Staten Island, Brooklyn, northwest Suffolk, northeast Suffolk, southwest Suffolk, southeast Suffolk, northern Queens, northern Nassau, southern Queens, southern Nassau, and in New Jersey, eastern Essex, Hudson, and eastern Union. Coastal flood warning in effect until Monday afternoon. The National Weather Service in Upton has issued a coastal flood warning, which is in effect until Monday afternoon. Widespread major coastal flooding is likely around the times of high tide cycles through early Tuesday afternoon. A large superstorm over northern Canada is expected to move slowly southward this evening. As it approaches, extreme winds combined with astronomically high tides will result in widespread major coastal flooding. Coastal flooding may extend further inland towards areas not normally affected by coastal flooding. A coastal flood warning means that flooding is occurring or imminent. Coastal residents in the warned area should be alert for rising water and take appropriate action to protect life and property. For the following areas, in Connecticut, the National Weather Service in Upton has issued a high wind. For the following areas, in New York, Bronx, and Manhattan, the National Weather Service in Upton, New York has issued a flood warning for Bronx County in southeast New York, Manhattan in southeast New York, until 11 p.m. At 4:55 p.m., radar showed a large area of moderate to heavy rain over the area. Rainfall from 4 to 6 inches has already fallen, and another 2 to 4 inches of rain is likely. This will cause significant flooding of urban, low-lying, and poor drainage areas, which could impact the evening rush. Knee-deep water has been observed by the public and law enforcement throughout Manhattan. Stranded vehicles and flooded subways have also been reported. A flood warning means that flooding is imminent or has been reported. While flash flooding is not expected, all interested parties should take necessary precautions immediately. Be especially cautious at night when it is harder to recognize the dangers of flooding. If flooding is observed, act quickly. Move up to higher ground to escape flood waters. Do not stay in areas subject to flooding when water begins rising. For the following counties, in New Jersey, following is a flood warning. Tsunami warning. Repeat, tsunami warning. The National Weather Service has issued a tsunami warning for the coastal areas of the eastern United States from Virginia Beach, Virginia to the U.S.-Canada border. This is the result of a massive superstorm over Canada, which has generated an extremely large and widespread tsunami-like wave over the Atlantic Ocean. The tsunami is expected to arrive near Long Island in the New York City metropolitan area around 5:20 p.m. A tsunami warning means that a tsunami is imminent and coastal areas in the warning area should prepare for flooding. The National Weather Service is updating conditions hourly, or as conditions warrant. The National Weather Service in Upton, New York has issued a flood warning.
News Radio KDKA. We are continuing to cover the North American superstorm, currently located over Canada. The effects from this catastrophic system are already occurring across the northern United States, especially coastal areas. For the last hour or so, a large and destructive meteor tsunami made landfall along the East Coast. Catastrophic damage has been reported in New York City and Boston, with many communities in these areas underwater. Damage has also been reported further south in Virginia Beach, Virginia, the Outer Banks of North Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and Charleston, South Carolina. A tsunami warning remains in effect from the U.S.-Canada border south to Virginia Beach, Virginia. A tsunami advisory also remains in effect from Virginia Beach, Virginia to Miami, Florida. Many countries and territories in the Caribbean Ocean, Europe, and Western Africa are also affected by this ocean-wide tsunami. Widespread heavy rainfall is occurring across much of the northern United States, and this is expected to continue moving southward. We have just received an emergency alert from the United States government. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast stations and cable systems shall transmit this emergency action notification message. This station has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the White House to participate in the emergency alert system. During this emergency, most stations will remain on the air providing news and information to the public in assigned areas. This is KDKA. We will continue to serve the Pittsburgh Extended Operational Area. If you're not in this local area, you should tune to stations providing news and information for your local area. You are listening to the emergency alert system serving the Pittsburgh area. Do not use your telephone. The telephone lines should be kept open for emergency use. The emergency alert system has been activated.
The President of the United States is currently in transit to a safe location. The following message has been prepared to be broadcast on all stations. A cataclysmic superstorm, the like never seen by modern humanity, is bearing down on the United States. The impacts from this storm will be felt across the entire continental United States for the next 24 to 48 hours. Alaska, as well as most of Canada, have already fallen to the effects from this storm. All residents in the United States and territories, prepare now for extreme weather conditions, which include very heavy precipitation and rapidly falling temperatures. Many areas of the northern continental United States can expect blizzard conditions and extreme cold. Depending on where the eye of the superstorm passes, extremely cold temperatures and flash freezing of all exposed surfaces is possible. If you live in the northern continental U.S., prepare now for a few days of extreme winter weather conditions. Shelter in place, close all doors and windows, and turn off any ventilation systems. Make sure you have adequate heat and clothing to withstand very cold temperatures. Once the storm has passed, remain in your shelter until rescued by emergency responders. Residents in the southern continental U.S. should consider evacuating south towards Mexico. All border crossings will be open to process evacuees. Residents in Hawaii and territories should prepare for a few days of unusual weather, although the impacts in these areas will be less severe. Please continue to follow the national emergency and avoid unnecessary travel or phone calls. The National Weather Service will remain staffed to provide rapid warning of adverse weather conditions for their local areas. We will recover from this natural disaster, not just for the United States, but for the rest of the world who is experiencing similar events.
That was a message provided from the President. For all listeners in the Pittsburgh area, local information will follow shortly. The Pennsylvania State Emergency Management advises all residents to shelter in place. It is not safe to evacuate.
Is a flood watch statement. Flood watch. The following is a blizzard warning from the National Weather Service. Blizzard warning in effect until Sunday evening. The National Weather Service has issued a blizzard warning, which is in effect until Sunday evening. Any precipitation this evening will change over to snow shortly as the superstorm continues southward and temperatures fall below freezing. Snow will be heavy at times throughout the day Saturday into Sunday, with rates up to 4 to 5 inches per hour possible. Winds over hurricane force are expected, with higher gusts. Whiteout conditions will be likely throughout much of the weekend, in addition to very cold temperatures. Do not travel for any reason. By the time snow ends Sunday evening, accumulations could average 8 to 12 feet, with locally higher amounts possible. A blizzard warning means severe winter weather conditions are expected or occurring. Falling and blowing snow with strong winds and poor visibilities are likely. This will lead to whiteout conditions, making travel extremely dangerous. Do not travel. Stay tuned to NOAA All Hazards Weather Radio or visit our website at weather.gov/NYC for further details and updates. This is a special weather station.
This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast stations and cable systems shall transmit this emergency action notification message. This station has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the White House to participate in the emergency alert system. During this emergency, most stations will remain on the air providing news and
A civil authority has issued a civil emergency message for all of Pennsylvania, effective until 11:07 p.m. A state of emergency is in effect for Pennsylvania due to the superstorm affecting the United States. Blizzard conditions are occurring or will begin shortly across the entire state. No travel is advised. Continue to shelter in place. Do not venture outdoors for any reason tonight as temperature could fall into the negative teens with even colder wind chills. Stay tuned to local radio or TV stations for further information.
This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast stations and cable systems shall transmit this emergency action notification message. This station has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the White House to This is a shelter-in-place warning for the entire capital region. The eye of the North American superstorm is approaching the region. A flash freeze will occur as the eye passes over the area. Anything caught outdoors will be frozen instantly. Temperatures will fall as low as 100 degrees below zero. Move immediately to an interior room and seal any cracks to the outside. Dress in multiple layers of warm clothing. Use blankets into the heat sources to keep warm as the eye passes. This is an extremely dangerous situation. Shelter in place immediately. Do not exit your place of shelter.
The National Weather Service in Upton, New York has issued a flash freeze warning for Westchester County in southeast New York, Rockland County in southeast New York, Manhattan in southeast New York, Bronx County in southeast New York, Richmond County in southeast New York, Queens County in southeast New York, Kings County in southeast New York, Bergen County in northeast New Jersey, Passaic County in northeast New Jersey, Essex County in northeast New Jersey, Hudson County in northeast New Jersey, Union County in northeast New Jersey, until noon. At 8:03 a.m., visible satellite data indicated the eye of the North America superstorm approaching the New York metropolitan area. The superstorm eye was moving southeast at 50 miles per hour. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. Temperatures will fall rapidly to near 100 degrees below zero across the New York metropolitan area, instantly freezing anything exposed to air. A rapid temperature drop to negative 86 degrees was reported in Albany. The safest place to be during a flash freeze event is in a reinforced interior room away from windows. Protect yourself with warm clothing and blankets. Have a heat source, such as a fireplace nearby to provide warmth. Do not venture outdoors for any reason. Any person or objects exposed to the eye of the superstorm will freeze instantly. The National Weather Service in Upton, New York has issued an iceberg warning.
We are continuing emergency coverage for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is WBAP. Please stand by for an emergency message from the United States government.
This is a message prepared by the Vice President of the United States. As of 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, the superstorm that has affected much of North America has finally dissipated. Similar superstorms across the globe have also since dissipated. While these storms have ended, residents are reminded that dangerous weather conditions will persist until further notice. The northern continental United States is buried under several feet of snow, with many areas of the Northeast affected by a flash freeze as the eye of the storm passed over the region. Heavy snow accumulation was reported in some southern U.S. states like Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. Areas that saw mostly rain are still experiencing widespread flooding. The national emergency will remain in effect until damage has been cleared and the potentially new global climate stabilizes. Those who evacuated to Mexico are asked to remain there until further notice, as conditions across most of the continental United States are still hazardous. For residents still in the continental United States and elsewhere, remain at your shelter and continue to follow directions from local officials. Discussions with other world leaders will take place soon as we, the population of Earth, prepare to adapt for a drastically new world.